Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing tonight? Welcome, welcome to a special evening live. How are you guys doing? Welcome, 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 y'all. Let's jump straight into this. And I prepared a PowerPoint presentation. That's why I'm a little late because my PowerPoint presentation really had to get on and popping. Okay, listen. Welcome to part 3 of Diddy's downfall. Y'all, we got to talk about a few things. And to tell you the truth, right? I've been wanting, okay, if you guys are wondering what happened to part 2, I actually don't know. YouTube was tripping, but your girl will not be stopped. And I decided to come on for part 3. There's so much going on. I know tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Do you guys want like an afternoon live while you guys are getting dressed? We'll talk about that later. Let's get into this mess, okay? What's up, everybody? And y'all, I got a PowerPoint presentation. I know the other live, something was happening with the sound quality. Y'all was making me paranoid. I was like locking my doors, putting the VPN on, talking about maybe all this mess about Diddy following people is true. Y'all had me paranoid. But all jokes aside, right? Um, you guys, I made a PowerPoint. I have proof. We're going to pick up where things left off. The quality is good. I talked to my YouTube partner. We don't know what's going on, but baby, we back in this piece, okay? But I need to actually call attention to something. Sorry. I need to call attention to something very, very, very important. Are y'all paying attention? And we're going to actually connect the dots on what's going on with Diddy, with these possible RICO allegations, how far back they span, and why he is in London super, super concerned. You guys might be like, oh my God, he's just in London doing what? Shopping at Harrods? No, honestly, what is he doing in London? If you guys don't know, London is a hub airport. It is outside of the EU. And baby, he can be everywhere he needs to be very quickly. Y'all, let's get into this and let's see about how it ties into the BMF. Now, listen, some of y'all, not y'all, but some dumb people in the back were in my comments complaining about, Tisa, it's ridiculous with Diddy's BMF ties. This is all cap. BMF hasn't done anything in over a decade. So you know what? Let me just roll it back for the people in the back because y'all know. So listen, I had my PowerPoint presentation, but I had to alter it because I got a very special message in my comments from Fly444. Okay, this was 24 minutes ago. 24 hours ago, but I'd be taking screenshots for my PowerPoint presentations. We're going somewhere, okay? Go clean your house, go paint your nails, go put a deep conditioner in. It's time to exfoliate. This is going to be a long live, but it's going to be entertaining, okay? And like I always say, the next day, I will do a short recap for the people that ain't got time, all right? That's my Christmas present to myself and you guys too. Okay, so Fly444 said, Tisa, read this in a condescending, educated, full voice, okay? Because I'm just giving y'all the end of the story, right? Y'all always want me to hurry up and get to the point. She don't know what the F she talking about, but we're going to read through this, all right? I'm going to walk you through what I felt. Put yourself in my shoes. You was eating a mocha latte with some animal crackers that you had gotten from your little cousins, okay? Well, they didn't know that you took their stash. So imagine you're me drinking a mocha latte, dipping the elephant into the mocha latte and eating the animal cracker. It was magic. Anyone that's ever ate animal crackers and dipped it in coffee or tea, you know what I'm talking about. So that's where I was, right? Enjoying life, thinking this is what life is made of. And then I read this comment because y'all know I'd be in the comments, right? Tisa, there's no current information suggesting that Sean Diddy Combs is facing RICO charges in connection with the Black Mafia family, BMF. So the first thing I said is, B, this was my video. You don't got to put things in parentheses here in unto words, known here in and unto words, BMF. We already know. So I'm just like, okay, here we go with this educated fool stuff, right? The BMF founders, Demetrius Big Meech and Terry Southwest T. Flannery, were sentenced to 30 years in prison for running a coca organization. And their charges were under the continuing criminal enterprise law, which is similar to RICO charges, but no direct link to Diddy has been established in this context. And that's when I like literally put my animal cookies down. Because at this point, I don't mind people disagreeing with me. And like we're all human, like whatever. But when people really come on some educated fool stuff, that's when I'm like, all right, let me put my animal crackers down. You've just ruined my appetite. And now I got to put them down because I need both hands to type. All right. So then she wasn't done. She wasn't done. We're going to see about why she's so dumb, but she wasn't done, right? She said, um, uh, hey, what's up, Michelle Clark? Thanks for finally catching one, right? So then she said, there has been online discussion and rumors about Diddy's involvement with BMF, particularly regarding a debt that he had with BMF co-founder Southwest T, which is reportedly settled with the help of 50 cents. However, this does not imply any criminal charges against Diddy related to the BMS legal troubles. Now, at this point, I'm just sipping my mocha latte, like, waiting to get to the point. And that's when I took a screenshot. And I said, you know what? We're going to have you open up the next live because this is a very good way to talk about the dumb comments she made, right? It's always crucial to distinguish between rumors, personal and financial disputes, and actual legal charges. For the most up-to-date and accurate legal information, expect to refer to official news outlets and real legal documents. Stay safe. This stay safe with the hearts, that's what just gets me. Because I've had my experience with educated fools. And an educated fool always does this. They speak low and slow and ain't saying nothing. And anytime somebody wants to tell you for the most up-to-date and accurate legal information, it's best to refer to official news outlets and real legal documents. And I said, bitch, you want me to refer to a real legal document? How about we go to Douglas Wigmore's criminal MF and complaint? Hold on, put myself up here. Fly 444. How about we go to Douglas Wigmore's criminal complaint that he filed against Diddy? Well, I'm sorry, he didn't, but his person did. How about we go to, I'm sorry, the civil complaint that Douglas Wigmore filed? Since we want to talk about legal documents, how about we go to paragraph 21? Since you educated, figure out that legal documents are classified by paragraphs. How about you go to paragraph 21, to which any lawyer does not put anything in a complaint that they cannot prove in a plate of law. Now, why this is based upon information and belief, and it has not been independently verified or proven in a court of law. Baby, the case with the Jane Doe, Cassie's lawyer, Douglas Wigmore, his second client, after he got Cassie a rumored $100 million, put in the complaint that bad boy has been seated by the BMF. Okay, fly girl. Let's start there, right? Let's start with, for the most up-to-date and accurate legal information, bitch, don't play with me. Okay, it's better to refer to official news outlets and real legal documents. I said, you know what? It's nice you've been sitting there watching me, waiting for a chance to dethrone my research. And baby, I'm not saying that day will never come, but baby, it ain't today. And we about to rip apart your dumbness. Let's move into the PowerPoint presentation. You can thank Fly Girl 444 for this live. You know I always aim to please, okay? There's been online discussion. First of all, let's start with her first supposition, because it wasn't just her. It was a bunch of dumb guys in my comments talking about some all cap. I don't understand why. Let me take the bass out of my voice because y'all ain't do nothing to me. Peace and love, right? I don't understand why, and I get it. People don't understand the way RICO charges work. People don't understand what a criminal organization is. And people don't use Google because, baby, before I come to someone, and of course I have come at people, I always just do a Google search to be like, has anything changed in the 24 hours? Just before I go in on you, let me just make sure there hasn't been any new developments as to what's going on, okay? I know a lot of people are saying that, oh my God, Big Meech, this and that. Let's go into this because I made my PowerPoint presentation, okay? All right. First and foremost, and then we're going to get to what this has to do with Diddy and Bad Boy. Because y'all know when I promise you a Scooby Doo plot twist, a Sixth Sense plot twist, you know I always deliver. So it's coming, right? Let's get into this. Okay. Let's start off with what a RICO Act is. A RICO Act is used to criminally prosecute any type of corrupt or criminal organization, including gangs, drug cartels, corrupt officials, counterfeiting rings, and even human blanketing organizations. Okay. Now, money laundering, of course, is considered under criminal. And does New York have a RICO statute? Of course it does. The enterprise corruption statute is New York's version of the federal RICO Act, and it's added to the penal law. Okay. But that's when they were trying to take down the mafioso. But it's applied to everything, okay? Now, here's the funny thing that Fly Girl 44 and a lot of people are overlooking. What is the statute of limitations on the RICO Act, right? The federal courts, now, even though that states have statute of limitations, so if you don't know what a statute of limitations is, you usually have a certain amount of time to prosecute. So if you stole a pack of gum from Dwayne Reed in 1986, they cannot come storming into your home like they are battleship star troopers in 2023 over a pack of gum because the statute of limitations has expired, right? The statute of limitations is also used, even for if you have bad credit. No matter how much, unless it's a bankruptcy, after 7 years, they got to take that mess off and your credit like recycles. The statute of limitations is to make sure that somebody, our founding fathers put it in, somebody cannot just snatch you up for stuff that happened years ago. Because, of course, why is it? They're saying you can't get a fair trial. There's not enough evidence. There's not enough this. There's not enough that to give you a fair trial because like who is going to testify about you stealing a pack of gum from 50 years ago? Now, some things, usually criminal in nature, have no statute of limitations forever. For instance, if you murk someone, if you grape someone, if you do something that disrupts the fabric of society, there is no limit. Oh, there's no statute of limitations because, baby, when we catch you because you can't just be walking around in society. Now, keep that in mind when a lot of people don't realize that for RICO charges, right? There's no statute of limitations. Even if the state says, oh my God, if that happened 50 years ago, we're going to let it go. You need to know that federal law always controls. Now, state laws, when it's a gray area, they can control, but it's state law can never go against or trump a federal law. What's a case in point? In states, it's very, very legal to be able to smoke Mary Jane, right? To have enough, as long as it doesn't count enough to distribute, but enough for personal consumption, you can have it. However, if they catch you with the TSA or the feds want to make a problem, it's still illegal, whether you have a prescription or not, to smoke Mary Jane. That is a tried and true example of federal law always controls. The fact that a state will let you get away with it and it might even be legal in the state, once you pass interstate lines or if the feds come knocking at your door, they can and will, if they so choose, arrest you for that. So again, doesn't matter what New York statute says. The federal courts have uniformly held that regardless of the running of the statute of limitations, the defendant is still chargeable with a state offense within the meaning of 18 USC, what is this, section 196 1A, and of course it was decided under the US versus Lecovoli. Remember when I said that the RICOs were really intended to take down the mafioso? There is case law after case law. So let's just keep going, right? Because let's just break this all the way down for people to understand why there is room to believe and Diddy is worried about this. Now, the statute of limitations of Assimilative Crimes Act, right? It makes it punishable in federal court. Criminal acts or omissions not specifically made punishable by enactments of Congress if committed within the special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States. If the act is a crime under applicable state law, okay, only the substantive offense of a state are assimilated into federal law. So what does that say? If you look at law, which a lot of people don't realize, I'm going to speed past this really quick, but let me just say this because you need to just know this basic understanding in order to understand how this links into Diddy and RICO, because I feel like a lot of people understand it, but you need to really understand the way it goes, okay? Okay, so, right? Here's the thing. When you look at laws, it's not enough. You just can't look at one law because a law is a continuing leading living, breathing body. So you need to look at the law, but you also need to look at the laws around it. The last law said that under federal law, RICO has no statute of limitations. So, baby, if you committed RICO when you were 18, baby, when you 63, and them boys, them feds want to run up on you, they will get you. The next in the criminal code, this is the criminal research manual of the federal government. Federal government has a different rules of procedure than civil rules of procedure, which is usually with the state. Okay. The statute of limitations, this one rolls it in, basically codifying, listen, federal law doesn't have any statute of limitations. And this law codifies it, saying, and when the state has something saying it don't matter, the federal law still controls it. Now, this is implicit, but the fact that it's codified lets you know, baby, it's not going, right? Now, here's where Diddy is, based upon information and belief, messed up. The statute of limitations for conspiracy. Conspiracy is a continuing offense. A lot of people don't realize that. This is important to realize. Conspiracy is a continuing offense. So let's just say, right, that you and your friends say, listen, we're going to rob supermarkets, okay? Let's go. Let's be on some Raising Arizona stuff with Nicolas Cage. Remember that old movie? Let's go. Y'all rob 6 supermarkets, right? In that time, you have talks being like, yo, we gonna rob every supermarket in America. We getting money, right? After the supermarket, you're like, I'm done. Like, I got enough money. Y'all have fun. I'm retiring. Your friends that you had those talks with about robbing every supermarket in America go on to rob every supermarket in America. You only did 6. And in that time, let's just say a couple security guards get deleted during those robberies. And guess what? They didn't get deleted by your friends. When the police showed up, they were like bang, bang, bang. And those security guards literally got deleted by friendly fire. Now, if you guys know anything about a felony charge of deletion, if you are in the middle of committing a crime and the boys run up on you and somebody gets murked in friendly fire, that homicide gets attributed directly to you because you were breaking the law and you chose to do this. And because the police were trying to keep the peace, you catch those bodies, not the police. Now, that is felony murking. There's a bunch of constitutional challenges, but the courts have never, ever, 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 ever said that anybody, they've never, it's been challenged, but they always uphold saying, well, you shouldn't have been breaking the law, and anybody that gets murked on behalf of the police trying to maintain the peace, you're responsible for. Now get this gets into conspiracy because there is no statute of limitations for conspiracy. Do you know when they go around and they arrest everyone? And let's just say they're on their 70th supermarket and all this mess happens, you know that they will show up at your door and arrest you. Why? Because you are part of the conspiracy. Why? Because you sat down, you made plans to do something illegal, you took an action in furtherance of the conspiracy. That action could be texting, being like, all right, I'll see y'all at 10. It could be actually participating. It could be robbing the 6 supermarkets. You only need one overt action in furtherance. Okay, you got that, right? Now, I know what you're saying. No. But Tisa, didn't you say that we stood up and said, yo, I'm done. I'm out of it to your cohorts? That is not enough to stop conspiracy. In order to stop conspiracy, there's a few things that you have to do. And the law is very, very, very clear about this, right? Very, very clear. The conspiracy is deemed to continue until its purpose has been achieved or abandoned. The overall purpose, not when you chose to leave, but get this, an individual's withdrawal from a conspiracy starts. The statute of limitations running as to the individual. Now, here's the thing. I know what y'all saying. Batista, Parquet, right? With Diddy and the BMF, if it can be proven that these legal documents claim that he actually used it for seed money and they had a conspiracy under the RICO Act because they are a criminal organization, and any deals you make with a criminal organization is a conspiracy under the RICO Act, right? If this can be true, and I have evidence to back up everything I'm saying, I'm just giving you guys like the legal framework for us to get down, right? And then it's going to get fun. Okay. If you have evidence to back up, if you have evidence of the conspiracy and the RICO Act, again, it's criminal organization. And even if you say, okay, I took money from you guys and the whole conspiracy was to fund it and to launder money, which is what the accusation is, then if he said, okay, I'm done with it anymore, how's Diddy even connected to this? Well, let's get into how this works, right? To withdraw from a conspiracy for this purpose means that the conspirator must take affirmative action by making a clean breast to the authorities or communicating his or her disassociation to the other conspirators. This is under United States v. Gonzalez. I will say this. In every case since US v. Gonzalez, it has always been that it's not enough to tell your co-conspirators, I'm done. It's not or, right? You must do it together. You must tell your co-conspirators, I am done. You must also then go to the authorities, confess what your role was, confess what they plan to do, and then with the authorities on record say, I no longer want to be a part of it. Now, the reason why they put that law in there, people are saying with the United States v. Gonzalez, is because real talk, if you go and confess your role in the conspiracy to the United States government, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to do? Yeah, they might offer you some type of plea deal, but basically they can persecute you. You don't get any type of immunity by going in and being like, hi, I already robbed Rouse Vaughn supermarket, but they're planning on robbing 74, but I'm not a part of it anymore. That's why they put that in there, because you're basically making a confession to the police. They can either hold it over your head and make you turn informant, which puts your life in danger, or they can make you testify, which also puts you and your family's life in danger, or they can just throw you in jail. They wanted to make it hard to get out of conspiracy because, one, I guess it makes legal sense, but two, they wanted to make sure that the sticky hands of the law could get everybody involved. And the more you can press charges on people, the more people are likely to cooperate. Okay. So when somebody is like, what Diddy did back then have to do now? There's no time limit. People just don't get, there's no time limit. Just how much is there no time limit? Well, let's get into something current we can talk about. This was just posted by Megan Cunniff. If you guys don't know, she is the reporter that rose to fame through the Meg Thee Stallion case, right? Feds want corrupt LA politician. This was just posted on December 30th. Feds want a corrupt LA politician, Jose Juarez, to do 13 years for a RICO pay-to-play conspiracy. This is a RICO act, right? He has been on the Los Angeles City Council for 15 years when he resigned in 2020. So he's not even on the council anymore, amid a criminal case stemming from his Vegas gambling trips with the developer. Now, mind you, the feds were investigating him for a long time. He had no idea. They started investigating him, right? Well, he found out that they were investigating him in 2020. He resigned, but they had been investigating this man for years, because when the feds are investigating, they're not going to make updates, but you do have clues, such as when a lawyer names you in the MF file as doing something illegal. Anyway, how far does this go back? Why is this person facing 13 years? Well, let's go back. They want him to serve 13 years in federal prison for turning his downtown city council district into a racketeering enterprise that included lavish Las Vegas gambling parties and trysts with, I can't even read this, right? with working girls. Okay. Um, it was arranged by a billionaire developer who is now a fugitive. When did this all happen, y'all? A 2002 George W. Bush appointing Walter sentenced Lee, a real estate magnate who lives in Bel Air, to 6 years in prison for paying Huizar. This is the city council guy, is Juzar. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. They paid him $500,000 cash bribe over a downtown development project, right? He's to surrender on January 2nd. If you guys don't know, this actually happened back in 2012, 2014. The feds started investigating him. The heat finally got so hot in 2020 that he actually resigned from his city council position. Even though he resigned, even though everything, they still went back to mess that had happened back in let's just say it was 2014. It was somewhere in that era. In 2014, and this man is facing 13 years in prison. I say all this to say, Fly Girl doesn't know what the F she's talking about. RICO acts can happen. There's no statute of limitations. There is reason to believe that he is being criminally investigated based upon information and belief. New York State, New York City, and also the special investigation units of the federal government, the same people that took down El Chapo, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and who is it? Harvey Weinstein, are currently investigating. Based upon information and belief, Diddy's Jane Doe victims have filed criminal complaints against Diddy. When you file a criminal complaint, an investigation has to happen. It has to happen. The fact that people are really out here with Douglas Wigmore's first case with Cassie, with the second case, even the cases that the other lawyer, I think his name is Tyrone Blackburn or whatever, that's representing like a few of the victims, right? Even with all this, do you really not think that they're accusing them of blank traffic ring around the rosy, gang blank, doing all this stuff, literally putting in the complaint that they were seated by BMF, and that one, the New York State blah blah didn't pick up the complaint, or two, they didn't actually make a criminal complaint because baby, that makes the case bigger. Are you serious? Like literally. It's those people. Did y'all ever see that movie, Don't Look Up? Where it was about the fact that go watch it, it's really good. There was an asteroid that was going to hit the earth. And everybody with even an ounce of sense was like, I see the asteroid in the air. I think it's going to hit the earth. And the whole point of the movie was, don't look up, don't look up, don't believe your lying eyes. The fact that, but again, let's just keep going because let me get to my PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Withdrawal. Again, y'all remember this, right? This is the part 3, okay? The fact that people don't understand also, what's the link that they can also say the conspiracy is still going on? And this is based upon information and belief. The conspiracy is still going on because the criminal organization, which is the BMF, has not been permanently disbanded. Remember how conspiracy keeps going on, right? Keeps going on until one, the mission is complete, or two, the mission is abandoned. We know from actually doing, and let's get back to Flygirl 44, even the simplest research, BMF, yes, the New York branch was big meat, blah, 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 50 cents bought Diddy out, all that stuff. But dummy, that's not how it works for criminal organizations. Just like when the federal government was trying to get the Gambino crime family, they didn't just say, well, we got the Gambino crime family in New York. Guess we can't do RICO charges against the Vegas one because they don't do anything. No, dummy. The BMF is considered a criminal organization. Every state that has a chapter of the BMF, they look at them as one. That's how they get bigger sentences. They don't just say BMF New York chapter. The same way that you can go to a Walmart in New York, a Walmart in Jersey, or a Walmart in Los Angeles and return the same t-shirt because they are all Walmart, even though they have different operating hours, different prices, they're in different states. They are all in Walmart, and you can take it to a Walmart anywhere in the United States and you can get your money back. Okay. Now, why do we know that the BMF is for legal RICO charges is still alive and well? Well, quite simply, they just made a huge bust in October 19, 2023. More than 24 people were arrested. And were arrested. They were members and associates of the Black Mafia family. This is directly a news press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Missouri. Again, let's go back to the RICO. Remember how the only time that you cannot be a part of the conspiracy is if you denounce it. As far as I know, unless Diddy's an informant, he hasn't denounced it. Or two, right? Or two, it's abandoned. Or what's the third one? Y'all remember, denounced, abandoned, right? Or it comes to its end. Since the BMF is still active in other parts of the United States, if it was overseas, that'd be different because, of course, the CIA, FBI can't mess around with that. Okay. But my whole point of the matter is it is done none. So in federal RICO charges, the conspiracy, right? And the RICO charges are all alive and well. And it doesn't matter that he allegedly, according to Douglas Wigmore, the man that took down the International Monetary Fund's chief, the man that took down Harvey Weinstein, the man that took down the guy that was slated to be the next president of France, that had more powerful billionaire friends than Diddy will ever have. He took down those people. That man, who was no MF and joke, put in his legal filings that Diddy got seed money from the BMF. He put it in his legal filings that Diddy got seed money from the BMF. Again, a lawyer of that caliber would not just put that in. Even though people would be like, it's important to distinguish, bitch, it's important to distinguish what research is. Again, the BMF just got taken down. It was a roundup. They're still saying that it is alive and well, but around the US. But the federal grand jury indicted 15 in the blank distribution conspiracy in Kansas City, Missouri. Let's also not forget that it was returned with a 63-count superseding indictment against 15 individuals for their role in distribution of narcotics. But the thing is, there was 35 people total. The other people, what is it? I can't count. 16, 35, 16. Math is not my strong point. 16. So that's like 18 people. The other 18 people were indicted for a litany of charges. None the least, but also included, was money laundering. So much so, if Flygirl 444 had bothered to even use Google, you would have saw, because apparently, right? Even 50 Cent reacted to the mass BMF arrest, promises new spinoff TV show. You know 50 Cent is going to go the distance, okay? Now here's where we get into the real meat and potatoes. Again, the fact that people, Flygirl 44 and a few of her dumb minions, are in my comments, and not for y'all, but people in the back, acting like because Big Meech and Larry Hoover are either gone or in jail or just nullified, that all of a sudden that means that, oh my God, again, the sheer ridiculousness, let's go back to this. There's no current information suggesting Shonda is facing RICO charge. Are you dumb? The founders, Demetrius and Terry, were sentenced to 30 years in prison. Okay, but okay. Like, there are lieutenants, there are co-captains. It is whatever. There has been a direct link established. It is alleged. It has not been independently verified, but it was alleged by Douglas Wigmore in documents that he submitted to federal court. That's all I'm saying. A lawyer of that caliber would not mess around. Now, right? Blah, 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 blah. Again, all this stuff about a debt, what are we talking about? Diddy's involvement with BMF, particularly regarding a debt he had, is reportedly settled with the help of 50 Cent. What does this have to do with criminal charges? So 50 paid off his debt. So Diddy ain't gonna get Diddy bopped on the street when they see him. What does this have to do with the federal government? Can you imagine some idiot that's an educated fool standing in front of a federal judge and saying, Your Honor, my client should not be here? There was money owed to the criminal organization, which the first thing any lawyer would say is, dummy, you just proved the point. If you are not involved or colluding with a criminal organization, why was there a debt? Where would the money come from? Would they loan you money to do? It does not matter that you paid back a criminal organization. The fact that you took money from a criminal organization is enough to get RICO. It's enough to get conspiracy, and it's enough to get your assets seized under forfeiture laws, federal and state, and probably city forfeiture laws too. So the fact that it was paid back, dummy, right? But also, right? It does not imply any criminal charges against Diddy related to BMF legal trial. It 100% does. It 100% does. Anyway, right? It's crucial to distinguish between rumors, personal fight. I'm not even reading this idiot stuff. Let's move on. I'm done dragging her. Let's go on. But anyway, where was I? Okay, now let's get into what this got to do with Bad Boy Records and how everything is going down and what people are saying Diddy is really afraid of. Because if Fly Girl 444 had just let Google do the talking, right? Criminal organizations may, and this is a very, very common form of money laundering. And this is what Douglas Wigmore is hinting at. And this is why I bet you guys any money Diddy will settle with all these Jane Does quietly. Douglas Wigmore, don't forget Cassie was around for 10 years. Let's not forget that Cassie told Douglas Wigmore everything. Let's not forget that when he came with this other client, he knew what he was doing by putting BMF in the contract. I thought I included that in there, but hold on. Let me read paragraph 21 just so you guys know exactly what it says. Where's the screenshot? Okay, so paragraph 20, this is of the new complaint. A decade earlier, why isn't this actually my thing? A decade earlier, Mr. Combs founded Bad Boy and instilled his longtime friend, Harvey Pierre, into the role of president. If you guys don't know, Diddy and Harvey Pierre are being accused. At the time, Mr. Combs had many connections to Michigan, including, among others, to the BMF family, a blank trafficking and money laundering organization, right? That has been said to have seeded Bad Boy. Accordingly, upon information and belief, Diddy's associates, including Mr. Pierre and the third assailant, spent significant time in and around Detroit, Michigan. Anybody that has an ounce of sense knows that is a threat and a promise that they know where the bodies were buried. And a lawyer of that caliber would not bring that up in official court documents unless you can. Because the one thing you don't want to do in court is give somebody a tangent to actually argue against you. It's like if we walk into court and I'm like, no, you had on red shoes and a purple bow. I saw you. And I put that in my papers. And you know, like, yeah, I had on red shoes, but I didn't have any purple bow on. Got her. You will spend the rest of the time arguing, showing proof, doing this and that you didn't have a purple bow on. And guess what? It's true. I was lying. I was putting on 20 on 10. You didn't have a purple bow on, but I wanted to put 20 on 10. That's a rookie mistake for a lawyer. Any lawyer worth their salt would know, do not make up stuff. Because if you can spend the whole court case arguing, there was no red bow, there was no purple bow, there was no purple bow. I don't even wear bows. If you can actually spend that time arguing, then to convince the jury, what's the next thing the lawyer says? Your Honor, if this fool is saying I was wearing a purple bow and I'm allergic to purple. I know, right? You just sitting there like, Your Honor, objection. How can somebody be allergic to the color purple, right? But if you're like, this fool sitting in front of the good members of the jury, saying that I had a purple bow and red shoes on. I'm allergic to the color purple, and I don't even wear bows, right? I'm allergic to bows, and they can prove that. The next thing they do is say, if they're lying about the bows and they're lying about the purple bows, and they did that, then you got to ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, what's the odds I was wearing red shoes? What's the odds that they're doing the same thing? They have no evidence. This is just circumstantial. Why would you listen? That's why you don't put BS in any complaints and go in front of the court. You only put mess in that you can prove. That's it. And again, I know new lawyers might be like, I don't care. We go and see if it works. And sometimes it works. But a lawyer that is as steeped in the blood of law as Douglas Wigmore, the person that took down Harvey Weinstein and the head of the IMF, he is not playing those stupid, just got out of law school, some Matthew McConaughey Lincoln lawyer mess. He's just not. He's just not. Anyway, right? Let's get in here, right? Let's get into how this affects Diddy and Bad Boy, because this is the real thing. A criminal, God, I hate when I ruin my own reveal. 1 second. For example, a criminal organization may actually purchase a music label and use it to launder the money by inflating the cost of recording contracts and distributing the profits through shell companies. Additionally, concert venues may be used to launder money by overcharging for tickets, merchandise, and services. You guys pay attention to this, because this is the mess as to why Diddy might be so shaken and what this has to do with Bad Boys and how it wraps up into everything Diddy said. What are the 4 stages of money laundering? You need placement, you need layering, you need integration, you need money laundering charges. Of course, there's defense. Let's get into this, right? Now, here's the thing, right? How is money laundered through music? Criminals first pay musicians through this is new, crypto transactions. Before crypto transactions, they would pay musicians, their management, and their record label money for them to come perform, for them to make music, for them to actually sell albums. This is very important, okay? We're almost done with this. So, what does this have to do with everything? You guys, what was this whole PowerPoint presentation about besides me being petty and just calling Flygirl 444 an idiot? Yes, that was my first thing, but there was a point to this, right? There was a method to the madness. You guys, let's play hypothetical, because I just have to do my disclaimer. What I am saying is based upon information and belief, court documents, blog articles. Of course, a little bit of what the streets are saying first. It is based upon my information and belief. I do have to say that Sean Diddy Combs and his legal counsel, who he is, uh, what do you talk it? He's on his second lawyer, which doesn't mean anything, because sometimes lawyers aren't the right fit. He has maintained his innocence. He looks forward to his day of court. He has asked for more time, right? He has asked for more time to reevaluate his filings because he wants the Jane Doe's names removed, but he maintains his innocence. And of course, this has not been independent verified, not to be confused with unsubstantiated. Unsubstantiated means that it has been proven true or false, usually false. This has not been independently verified, which means that it has not been proven in a court of law. However, Sean Diddy Combs does welcome his day in court. Now let's get to what the streets are saying. Let's play hypothetical, right? The fact that money laundering is rampant through the music industry, more than you think, and it's actually worldwide. Now, for that to happen, let me read you this article, because this is very, very important, right? I got bored with my PowerPoint presentation, so I'm just going to read articles, right? Music money laundering, the dark side of music, how musicians can be used for money laundering, okay? Okay, now, they're telling the story about a certain musician. They said this person was, there was young budding artists that were announcing upcoming concerts on Twitter and different media organizations. Now, this was during the height of the panorama, right? And its impact on the economy. Restrictions had just been lifted. Just listen to this, because I'm going somewhere with this. One reason for the outrage was the steep ticket prices, with the cheapest ticket costing over $200 and the most expensive going for about $20,000. This led to widespread discussion on social media, with one question at the forefront of everyone's mind: why charge so much during the panorama? Right? Now, savvy risk and compliant professionals were super skeptical, right? They suspected from the jump that the concert and the musician could be used to launder dirty money. But here's the thing, right? Okay. They said this illegal activity is often associated with organized crime, blank trafficking, and terrorism. While various businesses and industries can be used for money laundering, the music industry is not immune. Music labels, and concert venues can all be used as conduits for money laundering. For example, a criminal organization may purchase a music label and use it to launder, blah, 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 blah. Additionally, blah, 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 blah. Concert venues may be used to launder money by overcharging for tickets, merchandise, and services. In these cases, the profits generated from the inflated prices are funneled back to the criminal organization, making the money appear legal. Moreover, musicians themselves can also be used for money laundering. For example, organizations may use a famous musician to launder money by paying them for a performance, but then reporting the payment as a business expense. This allows the organization to deduct the amount paid to the musician from their taxes, effectively hiding the origin of the money. Okay. Now, governments have all been doing what they can to actually stop this. But there's one more article I want to read before I do this, right? Another prominent law firm's business law said, how does the music industry launder money? Typically, this is done by moving the money through a series of transactions or layering to obscure the funds. Illegal origins. The process often involves moving the money through multiple bank accounts or shell companies, or even using it to purchase assets such as real estate or artwork. The ultimate goal of money laundering is to make the money appear as though it came from a legitimate source. So, what's the music industry doing? It can occur in different ways through artists. One way is by using the proceeds of illegal activities to fund the artist's music career. For example, an individual may use the money from blank trafficking to pay for studio time, music videos, and other expenses related to the artist's career. This can make it appear as though the money is being earned through legitimate means, when it in fact is not. Another way it can be laundered through music artists by using them as a front for illegal activities. For example, the organization may use a music artist as a cover for their illegal activities, using the artist's name and image to legitimize business dealings. Can also happen through the sale of music royalties or other revenue streams generated by the artist's music. This can be done by creating a complex web of shell companies and bank accounts to move the money through, making it difficult to trace the money back to its illegal origins. Now, you might be wondering, but you probably already figured it out. Tisa, what the hell does this have to do with Sean Diddy Combs? All right. What's the one thing that Diddy is known for, right? Besides the white fingernails and having a temper and making people walk for cheesecake and not having the bone structure for a beard. You know, beards usually make men look better. Diddy's the only person when he puts on a beard, it actually makes him look, he needs it like, I never thought I'd say it, but some people just need a clean face, right? Just shaved. But what's he actually known for? What is his claim to fame? What does everybody say? Diddy was known that when artists signed to him, they never really received what they thought. Remember how all his artists were saying, we made Diddy millions. We made Diddy rich. Do you know how much money we made from streams? Do you know how much money we made from concerts? Do you know how much money we made from record sales? But one thing was certain: every one of his artists, compared to the money they made, Bad Boy got pennies. And maybe it's because Diddy was not sharing. Or maybe, and far be it from me to suggest that anything untoward was going on. But if we apply the hypothetical of what these articles were applying, if we apply the hypothetical of what the investigation, and again, charges have not been filed, but the feds take their time picking up stuff. There is criminal complaint, and they are investigating it based off of belief, information, and belief, and based off of what Cassie's attorney actually put in the MF and court documents. If BMF, who at that time was so rich and powerful, I think they had between 427 million and 500 million on the street in cash invested in businesses. And back then, that was like having 2 billion on the street. They were powerful. If they were the ones that provided the seed money and they were the ones that were pumping money, maybe the money on the paper, right? Maybe the money on the paper, like, oh, we did this concert and we made 5 million. Yo, you sold this many albums. Yo, you did this. Yo, you did that, right? Maybe these profits that the artists thought that should have been going to them, maybe they were only profits on paper. And maybe Bad Boy Records was run by Ozark season 1. And maybe the reason that Diddy, as much money as he was making, right? As much money as he was supposedly making with Bad Boy, maybe the reason he stopped looking for artists and totally stepped away from it was quite simply because he wasn't making money. Big Meech was making money. Larry Hoover was making money. The BMF was making money because Bad Boy Records was nothing but a sophisticated money laundering system. And maybe the reason why Mace, maybe the reason why Biggie, maybe the reason why Total and Day 26 and making of that, maybe the reason even when making of the band, when he had all that talent and they could have been big, maybe the reason that Diddy never really had much care outside of promoting himself, of continuing to be a music mogul, is because the money that they were making from concerts, the money they were making from ticket sales, the money was nothing but a sophisticated laundering. And when Diddy got his billionaire boo who threw him his coming out party, Diddy's words, not mine, maybe Diddy saw that as a way to completely separate himself from the streets, completely separate himself from the streets, and literally be reborn as Sean John, be reborn as throwing freak off parties, be reborn as Ciroc, De Leon. Think about it. Why, when Diddy was so successful in music, the talent was there, it was a kind of stream, you would step away, even if Diddy was true to what everybody was saying, taking advantages of his artists, taking the money. Why? Because back then, people were so desperate to get on. And even now, that even if you know you're going to sign a bad deal, people still sign it. He was so overflowing of talent and he decided to leave it just for Sean John. Does that make any sense? And when you think about Mace being like, I saw the books, you made millions off of me. Or was it just laundering? Was it just cleaning? Was it just a significant way? Think about it. Let's just use Mace as an example. And this is all hypothetically. It's hypothetical. Far be it for me to suggest that anything untoward is going on. We're just playing make-believe, right? Let's just say Mace had a video. The actual video with Hype Williams. Was Hype Williams doing videos, music videos? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's just say the actual video of Hype Williams maybe costs, I don't know, 100,000 to make, right? And then enter in BMF. They did the initial thing. They basically control it. Diddy ain't getting any smoke with them, right? You saw the way 50 had to pay off a debt because Diddy was scared of them boys. So what happens? The video is 100,000. But this is how money laundering works. All of a sudden, let's just say they had to pay Hype Williams 20,000. Let's just say they had to pay the video girls 5,000. Let's just say that Mace got paid like whatever, right? So what would they do? They would say, yo, on the books, the video director got paid 300,000. The girls got paid 100,000. The lighting instead of 50,000 was, I don't know, maybe 80,000. Maybe it was 150,000. The point is you inflate everything. So at the end of the day, on the books, it looks like that video shoot cost between 800,000 and $1 million, right? And the federal government's none the wiser. They don't know how much these video shoots cost. They're not going to argue with you over it. So boom, from a $100,000 video shoot, you just washed $1 million. Next up, concert venues. What happened? What? Mace got flown out. I'm just doing hypotheticals. He got flown out to put a private concert on, right? They got paid from the private concert, what? $1 million? And then what happens when you get that $1 million? You now have the money that was paid for Mace is now washed, because at the end of the day, you only have to report where you got the money from. It's not your job to report where the $1 million. Oh, I got it from an overseas transfer. So now there's $1 million, and now that's clean money, and you can disperse it to other shell companies set up. Because again, you want to put different layers. So if anybody looks, even though it doesn't really work with forensic accountants because they tear everything up, you now see. What's next? Let's go into concert ticket sales. We should have been making money. We had sold out tickets. But then when you look into the stands, there's seats there, right? Yeah, most of the fans paid $50 to $150 for a ticket, but there were some VIP tickets, right? There were VIP tickets that oddly enough were $25,000 each. You want the VIP experience to come back to, oh, that's $100,000. That's $200,000. Ah, guess what? People bought it. We just made off of this concert venue, right, of touring, maybe $3 million, something like that. That money's clean. It gets dispersed back into the street or whatnot, but now it's clean, because at the end of the day, the federal government is just like, whoa, y'all made that much? Yeah, they gave it to us in cash. Yeah, we don't care. We don't care if it was deposited in cash. We don't care if it was deposited in a check. We just know that your business made money. This is the source of Diddy's potential RICO charges. This is why Douglas Wigmore put in the thing that they were seated by Bad Boy. This is what everybody says, that Diddy is desperate to not come up. This could be the reason, right? That, based upon information and belief, that Diddy, at the height of his success, when he had talent upon talent upon talent, played with all his hit artists like they were a bunch of bums. Didn't care about putting out music, didn't care about doing this, didn't care about doing that, because at the end of the day, Bad Boy Records, people have accused of being nothing but a sophisticated money laundering system to actually clean money from the BMF, right? And also for Diddy saw that as a way to launch his own star. Again, if somebody can tell me why he chose at the height of his career not, again, he chose not to continue, not to find new people, even if he was a user. And what's the last smoking thing, the smoking bang bang, that I want to talk about? Well, people might be like, oh my God, where's the proof of this? Listen, this needs to be proven in a court of law. I'm just doing what it do, Nancy Drew, okay? This needs to be, of course, proven in a court of law. This is based upon information and belief. Of course, what can be proven is what is proven. And again, this is the court of public opinion, not law. But the one thing I do want to say that I think shows the most is, again, why'd he abandon? Why every artist, when they were making millions, said that Diddy stole all that away? Did they? Or were they just looking at the books and not understanding that maybe Diddy wasn't really, I mean, I'm sure he was scoring this artist over, but maybe Diddy wasn't really taking that much. Maybe the issue is you're looking at books, but nothing on there is real. Again, why? Why would he step away? Why? For Sean John? Who the F was wearing Sean John? It begs to listen. Hold on, let me get into these super chats. AB, you said, thank you for your coverage. Thank you, AB. The Princess of Power, thank you so much for joining and becoming a member. Beautiful profile picture. Steffi, thank you also for becoming a member. And Longive said, thanks for your hard work and great tea you're constantly bringing. Oh, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you. You know, if there's something that motivates me to get out there, it's being petty and getting up there, you know? Listen, I'm sure Diddy was taking a lot, but the whole point of the matter is we cannot deny that it is in legal papers. We cannot deny that there is an investigation ongoing, because there has been a we cannot deny that there has been a criminal complaint filed. We cannot deny that whenever criminal complaints are filed based upon information and belief. There is an investigation. We cannot deny that whatever Diddy did back then with the BMF, if there was any type of anything untowards that the government does describe, we cannot deny that there are conspiracy. There is RICO inherently. There is conspiracy, and it looks like it would be some form of money laundering. Let's also not forget that even if somebody gives you $100 for criminal activity and you give them back that, make it move it around and give back that $100, that still is money laundering. It doesn't need to be millions, even though people are suspecting that it is millions, right? That it is millions. Again, oh, what's the biggest thing that I was like, yo, there might actually be some credibility to this and they might actually find something? Well, I'll tell you. Remember when Aubrey O'Day from Danity Kane did that interview on what is it? She did that interview on some, I think it was like an OnlyFans website, right? She did a little interview. Remember how she said that when they got their contract for streaming, she told everybody, don't sign it, because she actually did the math. And the math showed that they were only going to get like about eight or $900 in streaming revenue from the thing. And it wasn't even worth them even taking it. Y'all remember that, right? I actually thought that was actually really interesting because at the end of the day, um, you know, think about it. If streaming is something very, very new, streaming was not a moneymaker back then. If anybody was to get royalties, and this is called past or present, um, the fact that the music, which once might have been so popular without streaming, even with complete revenue, they're only getting about 8 or 900 a month. And Aubrey was like, listen, if you need that money, I'll get it. Just don't sign the NDA, right? And I think Aubrey and she said 2 other people, which I think is probably D Woods or Don Richards, right? Didn't sign it. So because they're the ones that like stood behind Cassie and went publicly. So that's what makes me think that they're the ones that didn't sign the NDA. You gotta think that if that was the actual case, right? There would be more in the royalty checks. Because what they keep trying to say is there was never any real money in streaming because Bad Boy came out of streaming. But what actually happened was the money for their concerts, the money for this, the money for that. Where is it? Again, some people say it's in BMF coffers. You know what I'm saying? The Belizean born says, thank you for schooling the ignorant. You made it law 101 for dummies. I know y'all were bored. I know most of y'all probably know this, but y'all know I love to walk things through a little bit. I know half of y'all were like, yes, T, so we know, move on. I get it. I get it. I get it. But y'all know me. I'm going to break something down as much and typical as possible. But thank you, the Belizean born, for the super chat. So, yeah, you guys, again, let me go to this chat. What is going on? Also, did y'all know that what's his name? I'll be sure is out talking about Diddy again. At least people think he's talking about Diddy. Let me play. He played some sermon. I would play it, but after the way TG Jakes in a black church ain't playing with YouTube, it was basically he posted. Let me read this to y'all, right? Hold on. What is going on? What is going on? I have such a busy day tomorrow with stories. There is a reckoning in hip hop. I'm all for it. Okay, so I'll be sure said, when you desperately thought that no one in the world was listening, I'll be sure if you guys don't know, is the actual birth father of Quincy, I believe, Diddy's adopted son. So it is the son between Kim Porter and Al B. Sure, who was a big deal in the 90s around the time of Aaron Hall. They said when you this is another reason why I think that like money laundering might have been going on because at the end of the day, that's the only way Diddy seemed to pay people. with copious amounts of and and I'm trying not to get demonetized. Y'all can fill in the blanks, right? Anyway, they said when you desperately thought that no one in the world was listening because they ran the most expensive PR campaign that silenced you, set you up, terrorized, and you predicted they'd attempt to block your lungs from breathing. While you were in that forced sleep, deep sleep, God says, "Be still, son. They will finally hear you when I instruct their ears to listen, and they begin to bleed from the truth you've spoken all alone." He said, BCAC, before coma, after coma, 2012 to 2023. I would just say, listen, I'm not going to tell anybody on how to share their story. Clearly, Diddy could not have done this if he didn't have some very powerful people in his pocket. I will say that as much as people talk trash for Cassie actually having a civil trial, at the end of the day, Cassie's the only one. And of course, the Jane Does that came forward are the only ones that have had the BALLS to press the button and really press Diddy. I'm just saying. But then again, I'll be sure. I don't know. He's talking about people trying to stop his lungs from breathing. But then again, with Albie Shore, remember last time he posted something that made it seem like it was Diddy, and then he came out the next day and was like, "How dare you? I don't speak on other man's business." Shut up, shut up, shut up. Anyway, Valentine TV, thank you so much for being a member of 1 month. Thank you so much. Amani said, Tisa, you need to go to law school. You're brilliant. So inspirational how you dissect these cases and spill the tea like no other. Y'all got me out here blushing. Thank you so much. But listen, I want to know from you guys, who do you think? What do you guys think is going on? I think this is something very real. I think this is what Diddy is actually afraid of coming out. Again, his associations to the BMF, his associations throwing parties, getting money, doing whatever. It does seem that Bad Boy Records could potentially be Ozark season 1 and a sophisticated money laundering scheme that was basically marshing money off of the street. Let's also not forget that BMF was super, super prominent in Atlanta. That's where not Big Meech, that's when Wolf, may he rest in peace, lost his life with Big Meech and somebody else in the parking lot. My whole point in the matter, even with the Wolf mess, right? Diddy was always in Atlanta too. He would be doing parties. I'm the mayor of Atlanta. I'm the mayor of Atlanta. It's so funny that he was super, super heavily prominent in all the places that the BMF were super prominent. Detroit, how do we have him in Detroit? Linked to the one Jane Doe. That's when they grabbed that alleged woman that hadn't seen 18 candles yet on her birthday cake and bought her, or child, right? Bought her, according to her, to New York and did what it did, right? Before white finger, they were trying to hold her down and paint her fingernails white. I'm just saying, right? So Douglas Wigmore said they were always in and out of Detroit, a BMF hub. Diddy himself, right? Kim Porter had a house there, but anybody in Atlanta from that time can tell you Diddy was hard in those clubs, rolling with the BMF people. New York, say no more, right? BMF. Even though the heads of BMF were dethroned, that still don't got anything to do with the other people in BMF because it is a criminal conspiracy, right? An organization. And we all know just because the president and VP of an organization might change does not mean that Apple and IBM or whatever you want to talk, or Hewlett Packard actually disband. You see how that goes? Y'all see how that goes, right? Y'all see how that goes, right? Listen, listen, listen. I can only speak on things that I based upon information and belief. I think it's very important to speak on that. So what do y'all think? Listen, what do y'all think? I think it's viable. And I think it's actually incredibly like naive and I don't want to call people dumb because I don't really mean people are dumb. I mean like they annoy me because it's just like the evidence is right there. Why do you need someone to connect A, B, and C? It literally is like someone being like, You sitting there waiting across the street, even though you can see that like there's no cars coming. Oh, you can cross the street. Thank you. And then being on the other side of the street talking about you can't cross. You can't cross. So they tell you to cross the street. Like, why do you need somebody to hold your hand? Why do you need, like, do you need permission to connect the dots? Now, here's the thing, based upon information and belief, blah, 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 it has not been independently verified. Independently verified means not that it's unsubstantiated, but that a court has not ruled on whether it's factual, and the people involved have not said whether it happened or not. Okay. But why? Well, I actually think that this is super, super viable. And I think this is what Diddy's afraid of. And also, when people talk about what made him settle with Cassie so quickly, well, think about Harvey Weinstein. He thought it was a joke. He had the DA in his pocket. That's why he never got charges in New York. He had a U.S. attorney in his pocket. He had all these people in his pocket. So he had police chiefs. Well, not police chiefs, but detectives. It just never got investigated and never went anywhere. What was the changing point? And when they were suing him for civil trial, he thought it was a joke. Let's not forget that he owned his own production company. Every time something happened, insurance didn't pay, but there was a fund that the board had that whenever they got profits, and don't forget Harvey Weinstein at one point was the most powerful man in Hollywood. The board had a fund that every single time he would actually get sued or somebody, an employee would make a complaint or whatever, they would go into that little slush fund that was written into the charter. And the board thought they were so smart. They thought they could avoid having to disclose this for shareholders because the fund was already there. And nobody's going to be like, well, how was the fund used? That's what it was there for. They would go dip into the fund, pay people off, make them sign NDAs, and then they would move on. Harvey Weinstein was doing this for decades. So what was the turning point? I'll tell you what the turning point was. When the feds got involved, when New York state and local authorities got involved, when they got involved, all of a sudden, he was sitting there in court, literally sitting there on Monday. By Friday, he realized ish was going down. By next Monday, he said that something had happened and the Lord had taken his sight and please had pity on an old man. He literally came in like 3 blind mice, 3. Literally, he said, huge God, hello, right? He literally was on some dumb mess. Same thing with Diddy. Harvey Weinstein thought he was untouchable. He was untouchable for a while. Harvey Weinstein arguably is way more powerful than Diddy ever was. Again, they both got billionaire friends. Harvey Weinstein actually was on his way to becoming a billionaire. One of the most powerful men in Hollywood. How do you know? His wife that made the Marcheska clothing line, which was ugly clothes, had every starlet wearing it on the red carpet. And baby, those clothes were ugly. It got real after an investigation because criminal complaints were filed and they finally started getting investigated. They took them down. I do believe the same thing is happening to Diddy. And I do believe that one of the reasons he settled with Cassie for so quickly isn't the fact that he thought, oh, she has me dead to rights, because we know how it is. That's why Diddy wants the girls' names not to be anonymous. He's right now pushing back on whether the names can be hidden, right? The reason is the fact that how it is in America. The longer it's out there, the more they dig up. They try to make it seem like the girl's loosey-goosey, all this other stuff. They bring in misogyny, all this stuff. So when you have money, the longer a trial can last, the easier it is, right? The easier it is, right? So, listen. So the easier it is. So in any case, one of the reasons people are saying, and based upon the information that Diddy settled so quickly, is because Cassie just didn't know about the white fingernail polish. It was the interstate blank trafficking ring around the rosy, but it was also the fact that she had witnessed so much. Remember in her complaint that she said that she witnessed, they said, yo, Suge Knight's out by some hot dog stand. And Diddy grabbed a gat and he was out of his mind on some substance and he ran out. And Cassie stayed up crying all night. Do you really think that lawyer put that in there just to tell us a bedtime story? Everything in there was enough that she basically made her witness statement without being cross-examined. But also it was a threat and a promise. That is what the best of the best of the best lawyers do. They are both threats and they are promises. And they are promises. So where does that leave us now? Where does that leave us? Listen, listen. Oh, by the way, you guys, I just want to let you guys know it is New Year's Eve tomorrow. I'll try to put up some videos, but I'm going to put up some special videos that what Gene Dill had to say about Diddy and the situation. I did a 2-hour interview with them. You guys, it is so juicy. I'm trying to edit it myself. The editors are, but it don't matter because you know what? I'm going to splice it together myself. I want y'all to see the rough draft because the knowledge is so good. Then we're going to have it edited. It's going to be a grand old time. It's going to be a grand old time. When I say he spilled tea, J-Lo, J-Lo years, Kim Porter years, the Misa years. He's speaking on Cassie. And baby, I guarantee you, you have not heard these tidbits anywhere else. So tomorrow, New Year's Eve, and actually New Year's Day, if you're not hung over, right? You know what? Even if you are hungover, put the volume on low and listen to the soothing sounds of my voice because baby, it is good. Uncle Gene was dropping. Also, you guys, don't forget that Uncle Gene has a book that's super, super good. You know he's a storyteller. It's on his Amazon store. I think there's a link in the video that I posted. Go watch the interview if you haven't watched it. It's like only 12 minutes, but I have a whole 2-hour interview. I'm just breaking it down into pieces. But yeah, he's writing a second book too. He said he's going to be back on the second book. So let's see if we can show him some love, you know. Let's see. AB said, I had no idea what the term gap was until you said it. I had to Google it. Exactly. Exactly. Listen, Gene is spilling everything. But listen, let me get to the chat. What do you guys think, right? What do you guys think of this theory? I think it 100% holds. And I think that might have been one of the reasons. Again, nobody can explain to me why Diddy, who had access to so many artists that were so talented, that sold records, he treated them like he just didn't give a F. If he really was using his artists and primarily benefiting from his artists, why wouldn't you just keep those cash cows around? Why wouldn't you get new cash cows? That's when Diddy was one that had his own label and everybody that was popping wanted to be on it because he knew how to get you exposure. Why wouldn't he keep that going? It makes no sense that this thing that is making this guy a multimillionaire and building fortunes, and he has a whole team around that can just manage them so he can step away and do his other stuff. It makes no sense why he completely was just like, yeah. Think about the way he treated Dirty Money with, Dawn and D was. Think about the way he treated Total. Think about the way he treated Faith Evans. Think about the way he treated Day 26. Think about the way he treated Dana Kane. Think about the way he treated Black Rob. Think about the way he treated Craig Mack. Just like Uniblast, right? Think about the way he treated Mace. Think about the way he treated Little Kim. Michael Jackson wanted to do a song with Little Kim. Diddy couldn't even be bothered to tell her. A lot of people said he did it because he was hating. I think he did it because he was like, I don't care. I'm only doing this so I can launder money. It really don't matter whether you do it or not. He wasn't even taking Bad Boys seriously. Michael Jackson said, hey, I want to do something with one of your artists. And you leave him on red and you're just like, yeah, whatever. I don't got time for this. So you can just be out there diddy bopping, doing the Harlem Shake with Biggie or whoever else was around. Mace. That's what you were doing? Does that make sense? Or does it make sense of the fact that the whole point of Bad Boy wasn't to make him a music mogul. The whole point of Bad Boy was to help wash money. He takes his cut and he can go live his life of trying to figure out how he's going to be in front of the camera. Because when you think about Bad Boy, he never really took it seriously. I know that like a lot of stars came up out of it because everybody's just like, oh, please, please, please. But he never took it seriously. And as soon as he could step away from it, he did. Who would do that? Why? when you got like whole teams. Why would you do that? You flying on private jets back and forth. What was you remember the guy, Jonathan Odie? What did he say? That Diddy and them were using private jets to move stuff around. Now, again, it could be the confessions of a madman, but it's a madman that appeared to build to predict the future. That's all I know. That's all I know. I just know he didn't take it seriously. You had Total, you had Faith, you had Biggie, you had Little Kim, you had Black Rob, you had Mace. And each time, not only did you take whatever money they made, even though I do think they inflated profits, so wash it, each time, what happened? They got a hit. Oh, you out there diddy bopping. Take this money, make this money. Ain't no way you can, right? You out there doing Harlem Shake and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, right? Sorry, I just wanted to, but listen, at the end of the day, were you taking it seriously? Because when they got a hit, they got a hit, and you would push to the front. When they like you look at day 26. Look at Making of the Band. Look at Sarah. Look at Dylon. Bop, bop, bop. Remember how Dylon would be in the studio so calm? And as soon as somebody would be like, hey, Dylon, could you just like, do this? Nah, me and that. And like. But yo, does it not make sense? Tell me he took it seriously. Why would you walk away? For Sean, who was wearing Sean John? I've been around the world. It was just never popping like that. Let's look at Ciroc. Look at De Leon. Yeah, it's easier money, but look at Revolt TV. Well, his sugar daddy helped him get into Revolt TV, right? But even Revolt TV, he always ventured out when honestly, music could have been you had the biggest label, the hottest label, and you just walked away from that mess. It's giving Ozarks season 1. It's giving you should be worried about the criminal complaint. It's giving I'm sure they are investigating. It's giving it sucks to be you. It's giving based upon information and belief, you are very, very eager to settle with these women quietly. It's giving there's probably a lot more going. It's giving 50 Cent wasn't joking when he said that Diddy probably needs to declare bankruptcy as soon as possible. That's what it's giving. That's what it's giving. All right? That's what it's giving. That's what it's giving. Listen, what y'all think? Listen, listen. I think it was front corp. I think it's a perfect thing. I think that when it comes to music, you can't tell somebody how much a music video costs. Like, it's like YouTube. If I want to spend $1 million saying this setup, and I spend $1 million, and for that plan, I paid 80,000 for this phone. What are they going to say? The IRS can't argue with you over how you spent your money. You just need a receipt and a transaction to show that you either received money or you spent money. Again, it's perfect, and nobody can tell you how much. You know what another big money laundering is thing? The U.S. attorney is trying to bust the ring, but you know that a lot of art houses in Miami, New York, Art Basel, you know that stuff that all the celebrities go to. You know that that's like a big. It's accused of being a big money laundering thing too. How does that work? Because when you deal with things, and also some of the biggest museums have been caught up in money laundering scandals, but it's legal. So here's the thing when you deal with things that you can ascertain the price, a lot of artists' careers have been made by this, right? You get this work of art, right? It's valued at well, that's actually tax write-offs too. Okay. So there's two things. There's money laundering and there's tax write-offs. Let me just say this and then I'll go because you guys need to know this, right? Because it's all a con. All this mess, it's all a con, right? So let's just say this. I'm a billionaire, right? Or even a millionaire. And I'm donating money to like the MoMA or the Met, right? I'm donating money every year. And then all of a sudden, okay, I donate a picture because baby, I need some help and my tax liability is so much. And yeah, I know I gave you guys $500,000, but do you understand? do you understand that I pay like 5 million in taxes? Do you understand I pay 10 million in taxes? So you know what? Help me out, right? So what's the scam that the IRS is currently trying to pick apart? I say, you know what? I'm giving you 500,000. And you know what else? I'm going to sell this picture, right? For a fair price. No, I'm not going to sell it. No, 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 no. I'm going to donate it. I'm going to donate it because I believe in art and I believe in you. So I just gave you 500,000 or 1,000,000, and I'm going to donate this picture. So they go and the actual museum, right? The actual museum looks at it and they're just like, whose picture is this? And it's nothing but like a cat and a stick figure drawn in blue crayon. It's like, whose picture is this that they donated to us? Man, put that mess in the basement. And all of a sudden, the people that are in charge of the high price donors are like, Miss Tisa Tells donated that to us. She just gave us a generous $1 million donation. What? She gave us a generous $1 million donation. And Miss Tells is sure that this is an emerging artist. And it looks like this painting might be worth, I don't know, 16, 17 million. So then the appraiser that's in the art museum looks at the picture and they're like, you know what? On second thought, this kitty cat and hangman, it has a certain je ne sais quoi. It's new modern mineralism, you know? It's here, it's there, it's impressionism, it's modern art, it's abstract. So they go and they take that picture that who knows how much it's worth, but they appraise it. They got their $2 million donation, and then they appraise it, saying this picture is worth 17 million because no one can argue with what an appraisal is. It is what it is because art is subjective. So they appraised it at 17 million and I gave it to the museum. Now it doesn't matter that maybe however much that picture's worth, it doesn't matter because once it's appraised, that person who's me that gave you that $2 million donation, I gave the picture. So now I have 17 million that I can put on my tax um that I can put on my tax as a write-off because I gave you, not sold, but I donated a priceless work of art. And that priceless work of art was appraised by a valid museum, someone that's like deep into it. A valid big museum has just appraised this artwork for 17 million. So now I have a 17. And get this, I didn't give it as a person. My company gave it. Because if you guys don't know, companies, especially hedge funds, holding companies, private equity funded funds, they buy art. They actually have a fund to buy art. And every now and then they donate it to museums along with a hefty donation. So now my company has a $17 million write-off, an 8 million, a 10 million, however much it was appraised for. Oh, and that art, the museum doesn't even ever have to show it. Because as we know of museums, they have art everywhere in the background. It was donated. When they get ready for an exhibit, maybe in 2053, right? The year 2060, maybe we'll put the exhibit up. But we now have a $17 million painting and you have the tax deduction for it. That's how the rich get richer. There is not even called a con. I mean, the IRS is now trying to crack down on it, but it's incredibly hard because how can you tell me what I think a piece of artwork is worth? That's why art is subjective. Once you get past the Picassos and all that stuff, that's how rich people, if they are trying to money launder, same as paying. You know, it's not like I gave you 35 million. No, I paid 35 million for this painting, right? Money gets cleaned. But not even that. That's how they get all these advanced write-offs because it's all in for the fix. It's all when you see like the housewives get caught for doing all this stuff, it's not the fact that they're criminals. It's the fact that when you get into that level of money, it is about gaming the system. Working people are the only ones who are like, how much do I owe in taxes? Because why? We're raised to be honest. We're raised to think that, like, no, the only two things that you can avoid is death and taxes. But baby, when you look at Jeff Bezos, when you look at Amazon, when you look at they operated for 13 years without declaring a profit, right? People like to say, don't give up. Amazon operated for 13 years without making a profit. That's not true. That's all cap. That's a lie. Amazon made huge profits from day one, but they took advantage of a corporate loophole. That is, when you get profits, if you reinvest them back into the company, you don't have to pay taxes on that money. On top of that, they were in a foreign nation where they got a private letter ruling. That's when a foreign tax government makes a secret tax deal with you that not even your own government knows about. And a private letter ruling only applies to the person that got it. So if I got a private letter ruling saying I only got to pay 1% tax, it's only for me. You can't be like, you gave Tisa 1%. No, 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 no. It only works for me and it stays secret. So anyway, what you do, I'm not even going to get into that. The point is, he had it hooked up, right? And now they come back and they tell us the lie of like, never give up. He had 13 years without a profit. He had 13 years without a profit and then turned it into a multi-billion-dollar company. No, they were making profits the whole time. They were just not paying taxes on it and hiding the money. Do you see what I'm saying? But when it comes to the other side of the money laundering, it works the other way too. Again, it's legal. It's legal until it's not. The IRS is always trying to catch up with it, this and that. The whole point is, if this is done on a huge scale, and that was just like with our thing, but even with Art Basel, when people are buying countless works of art and art's like, oh, I sold this and that, it's called layering. This piece of art that looked like it's like a Snoopy drawing and purple magic marker is going for 35 million. It's paid to the artist. The artist I'm not sorry, the gallery deposits the money, the money's being launched. So basically, Escobar pays 35 million to a gallery that he actually owns. That money's washed. Now it looks like legitimate money because at the end of the day, I only have to report where my money came from. If I said that this man who said his name is Bob Smith came in and transferred money from his shell company into our account for this 35 million and that company's offshore, that's not my problem. The US government can't even get into offshore records. All I know is the money's in my account. The money is now clean. Now I put it on the books and I transfer it to other shell companies. But mind you, all these companies, it's super integrated, but it's owned by the same people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. Let me just get the super chat. Miss Hollywood Forever said, I love watching your content. People need to start giving you more credit and we appreciate its hard work. Oh, thank you, Miss Hollywood Forever. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know? But yeah, listen, this is all game. Don't ever listen to God, sorry guys. That's why the heat just be coming on and killing me. You ever be in winter with the underheat flooring? It's just like, you got the underheat floor and you got the vents coming on. You're just like, oh my God. I have to open a window to let Jack Frost in here. Anyway, y'all. Anyway, but y'all get what I'm saying. Thank you so much, Miss Hollywood Forever. Y'all get what I'm saying. It's all a game. Now, if it happens on, and again, this is just Google it. This is just me reading. This is researching. This is knowing people. This is actually seeing the game happen in real life. But even if you don't see it happen in real life, you can just research it. If this is happening on that level, why is it so hard to believe that Diddy with Bad Boy, who the lawyers, legitimate lawyers, are saying had seed money with the BMF, why is it such a hard thing to actually believe that? You know what I'm saying? Listen, Alex said, well, I officially know how to launder money now, thanks to you. No, this is a learning lesson. That is a lesson on what not to do. That is a lesson on what not to do. Listen, really quick, let me just run through this, right? AB, thank you so much for the super chat. Princess Power, I want to say thank you again for becoming a member. Also, Steffi, thank you again for becoming a member. Long Game, thank you so much for the super chat. Amani, thank you for the super chat. Valentine TV, thank you for being a member for over a month. AB, thank you for the super chat. And Miss Hollywood Forever, you know I appreciate it. And I also want to take the time, because y'all know I always got time to be petty. I also want to thank Fly444 for leaving this dumbass comment on my page trying to talk low and slow and talk down to me on some pseudo intellectual stuff. I've said it once and I've said it again. I am not above being wrong. And I will tell you when I'm speculating or when it's based upon information and belief. And I am not above reproach and I can be wrong. But baby, I'm not wrong today. Watch your mouth when you come on my page, or at least do your research, dummy. God, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Let's get this last thing because this is just what ruined my animal cookie holiday. God. It's always crucial to distinguish between rumors, personal or financial disputes, and actual legal charges. For the most up-to-date and accurate legal information, it's best to refer to official news outlets and real legal documents. Stay safe. Baby, you stay safe because walking around with that level of ignorance is surely going to catch up to you. I just know the people in your life are mistreating you. I just know. You're probably too dumb to even realize it. Anyway, right? Anyway, y'all, thanks so much for joining. It is going to be New Year's Eve tomorrow. I might do an early live. Let me know if you're watching this on playback, if you want me to do an early live for New Year's Eve, not during New Year's Eve, but if you want me to do an early live while y'all getting dressed or cooking dinner. Does anybody cook for New Year's Eve anymore? I know I'm going to be sitting on the couch waiting for the collard greens and black eyed peas because if there's one thing I like doing is eating other people's food. You know what I'm saying? Someone, Miss Nola said, "You petty." I am. Anyway, y'all, if you guys don't tune in tomorrow or catch the playback, you guys have a happy new year. Believe women, believe men. Know that we are deep in the age of Aquarius. People's masks are slipping, things are being revealed, and not only on a personal level, but on a governmental. And whatever's going on with these rich and powerful, I'm glad that they are being exposed and the facade is actually lifting. Because for too long, it's like I'm sick of people saying, "Why didn't you guard yourself from the monsters?" Nah, baby, we going into the hills and we literally doing zero dark 30 on those monsters and ridding them from our lives. All right, you guys. And thank you, everybody, for the super chats and for joining and also being members. I really appreciate you guys. All right. I am going to be okay. You know what? Let me know in the comments section. I see you guys in the comments. I think I will do an early live, but let me know in the comments section. Either one, if you want me to do an early live, or two, if we just want to do a live on New Year's Day, or put three if you want both. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye. Stay safe, and we're gonna have to do a vote on whether we bring a white nail polish out this summer because I think we should reclaim that white nail polish. I do. It looks too good on our skin. We need to reclaim it. But let me know what y'all think. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.